What up, everybody? It is so time for this. I'm very privileged to finally bring you the Teval Arbiter of Virtue EDH Commander deck for your paper Commander night. It's finally here, and it did go through a couple of changes. It started off as like a Sacrifice Matters deck that like put everything into the graveyard, like even bodies and lands, and basically have a juice up Teval when it comes on the battlefield. Cast like very high mana costed spells and just kind of go from there. And then, luckily, I don't know. I think I was just watching Crokies, and I just loved his standard take on Tevil, and it was all about dragons. And I'll probably link his like stuff in the bio because Magic is really weird, guys. Where it's kind of like strange, like the different niches and like kind of groups that people get connected with. Sometimes I'll see users that comment on my channel and other people's channels, and that's cool. I like to see that. Obviously there's just very popular content creators, but I feel like sometimes you just have to be told to check these people out. So definitely check out Crokies, and he definitely put out a really sweet Sultai list that really cared about like dragons such as the Boomerang River Regent and also Esper Origins. And Esper Origins is in this deck basically mostly due to his like kind of just really good display of it. But overall, took a lot of inspiration from that and just landed on a sweet Dragons deck. And I'm so proud to kind of give you guys an idea of what's going on here. What kind of cards we have? There's just ones that I've just kind of assembled. You could probably really get idealized with this deck and really kind of juice up your power and your quality of cards. But overall, this deck is ready to rock and roll. You get for 5 mana, which includes 2 generic, 1 black, 1 green, 1 blue. You get a legendary creature, a spirit dragon. With flying and lifelink, spells you cast have delve. Whenever you cast a spell, you lose life equal to its mana value. And it's a 6/6. So, obviously, a decent sized body with a lifelink. We'd love to have sequences in Brawl because there is a lower life total to basically swing out before we start casting our big stuff, just so we don't die when we do cast our spells. That 6, life going back to your dome is just really good. So yeah, overall, you're just going to kind of love that aspect of that lifelink. It kind of opens you up. And like I said, usually you're like casting spells after you swing with Teval and get that life back in most circumstances. But in Commander, we get a little bit more life. So this is going to be a menace. Overall, it's just going to be a nasty card because the cards in your graveyard can be turned into mana, and there's no other requisite. I mean, I think of Maria as a comparison that doesn't really stand up to that very well. Even like Urza, where you kind of like tap artifacts for mana, like but you had to have them on the battlefield. You simply can just put more cards in the graveyard at a quicker rate, even if like you're just dropping 0 drop, 0 drop, 0 drop. Like it's so easy. A lot of 2 mana green cards will just put literally 4 cards into the grave, including itself. That's 5 cards. That's 5 mana with Tevil. So what a bomb! What an absolute bomb this is. So I do kind of want to demonstrate some of the perhaps higher power things in this deck. This was like definitely would be my thumbnail in most circumstances with the Tevil and Platinum Angel, but the glare was kind of rude, so I'm just like kind of doing it like this. But this card is definitely like a marquee card for that 8 generic mana. Your life total can change. So spells won't hurt like at all. Like we won't get that life loss. Like we won't lose life as we cast spells equal to its mana value. In that manner, this card like becomes like very awesome. Let me zoom up a little bit. I want you guys kind of get everything here. There you go. So there's a Platinum Imperium there. Just a fantastic 8/8, and just something you just love to see with Tevil. And like I said, these are so easily castable. You just have to have 8 cards in your graveyard, and with a Tevil on the battlefield, you're going to take 8 damage to the face. But then you're just going to have this 8/8 body, and it was like little to no like workaround for you. Platinum Angel is kind of similar in this manner. It simply just won't let you lose the game, and your opponents can't win the game. So in most circumstances, you're going to want to put like a Lightning Greaves on this thing, or mithril coat to give it kind of a little more invulnerability, that's when you're kind of living your best life with a Platinum Angel. Similarly, just easily castable with Tevil. And here's just more highlights. So I just want to kind of give you some really cool highlights. This is a depletion land from Arcadian Masks. And Peat Bog comes into play tap with 2 depletion counters on it. And then remove a depletion counter from Peat Bog, add 2 black mana to your mana pool. If there are no depletion counters on Peat Bog, I'd sacrifice it. Why I like this card is because it will like kind of accelerate us there in that manner with those like, you know, two instances of tapping for mana, of 2 mana. In addition, it will go to our graveyard, so we can start using it for mana when Teval does come on the battlefield. So it's a very interesting card for this deck. Very, very nice little, just kind of double action there, I'd say. Mishra Bauble is kind of like that other similar, like, this is so easy. Like, I can just play this on turn 1. I can just literally just put something in my graveyard for Teval later and then draw a card. And I didn't have to like do any investment. It won't even hurt with Teval on the battlefield either because it has 0 mana. Similarly, like a Chromatic Lantern will also have this effect where you're simply sacrificing this, adding a mana of any color, and then it's just going to go to your graveyard and you're going to draw. Once again, it's just very easy kind of replacement kind of spells here. Corroding Dragonstorm is, I do like the idea of just getting like overall value from our, you know, like kind of global effects. So having our opponents lose 2 life each when this comes on the battlefield is nice. And then the gaining 2 life is also nice. And then it popping back. And then the Surveil is good because we definitely want to build our graveyard, right? Before Teval comes on the battlefield. And it just works to help out later on, too, if we still need to put more things in there to fuel it. When a dragon you control enters, return this enchantment to its owner's hand. These are fantastic. All these kind of corroding Dragonstorm, rolling Dragonstorm, these are so easy money. It's kind of obnoxious to like play against someone like in a brawl setting. And that's where I do most of my testing for these decks. I'll tell you guys, people don't stand a chance against this deck. It's stupidly strong. And it's cards like this too, which are fun to experiment with, and they're so devastating. Like, simply put your Teval on the battlefield, and then this thing is just going to come back to your hand, and you can just like do it all over again. And with Teval on the battlefield, it's just going to be 1 blue for this thing that kind of repeatedly puts more cards in your grave and draws you more gas. Yeah, that's cool. Ripples of Undeath is that like that continual graveyard building. You don't necessarily have to pay that 1 and 3 life to bring that card back. So it's just in general, you're probably going to. But in general, this card is sick. All these cards are sick. So we've entered the 6 zone, Malevolent Rumble. They all do very redundant things. They put like 4 cards into your graveyard at a time. This one's probably the best one because you get a 1 mana like token that can be sacrificed for mana. And you can return any permanent card. The power level on the Malevolent Rumble is just like, it's just like crazy, absolutely crazy in the membrane. All right, and now we have the Cash Grab. And also just another really cool, this one's at instant speed, so we just love to see that. And then you get to mill 4 cards. You may put a permanent card from among the cards milled this way into your hand. That's any permanent. If you control a squirrel or return a squirrel card to your hand this way, create a food token. Beautiful, beautiful. Dresser's Insight will actually gain you some life too. So mill 4 cards, may put an artifact, creature, or land card from among the milled cards into your hand. Fantastic. Here's Esper Origins. We kind of like discussed this to a degree, how this is going to have kind of like a weaker first part, which is like just a Surveil 2, you gain 2 life for 2 mana. Not so hot there. It's actually the portion about this which really makes it great is the flashback. And you can imagine if you have 2 green with a Teval on the battlefield, it's very easily to like get both sides of this. And a lesson about Teval is that you'll only take the mana costs. And that can also include X spells. So like, say for instance, I pay like 5X and then like a single green, that's a 6 mana value because it's like the numbers represented in the corner. So at any time, we will only take 2 damage from the spell. Even if we flash it back for 4 mana, we only take 2 damage with Teval. So just really swell stuff. And this thing like flips into like kind of a monster. So we'll just kind of get this thing going here. So you have Summon Esper Maduing. Reveal the top card of your library. If it's a permanent card, put it into your hand. Fantastic. Add double green or add 2 green for the second chapter. Chapter 3, other creatures you control get 2/2 and gain trample until end of turn. Fantastic. Woo, baby. All right, so let's keep going. I thought the heck with it and let's just run the Rakshas's bargain. I was like kind of discouraged because we will take 6 damage to the face with the Teval, but it is just kind of easy. That's what we want. We just want like strong, generically costed spells. We could play this on an earlier turn cycle with Teval not in the battlefield and set them up really nicely. You know, people are calling this like the stock up of Sultai because you're basically looking like not 5 deep, but 4 deep and at instant speed, by the way, and not just sorcerer speed like stock up. And you get to put 2 of them into your hand and the rest in your graveyard. That's fantastic for what we're doing. It's great. So we're a big fan. Palantir is just that also really great generic spell. Let's just like I will tell you how many situations where I have 3 cards in my graveyard by the time Teval comes to the battlefield and like a Palantir of Orthink in my hand or a Methal Quote. I would say it's like every freaking time. So simply put, imagine like a Teval, like it's like a commander that comes with an additional card slapped on it. So that's how I want you to see Teval. I want you to see it as 2 cards rather than 1. Because in this manner, it's always going to be attached to another spell that immediately follows it if it resolves. And it's usually going to be something very strong. So like a Palantir of Orthink, the sky is the limit on this. Sometimes you can have 7 cards in your graveyard by the time Teval comes on the battlefield, and you can play a card like Ugin. So we have all those cards in this deck. We are very lean towards like this generic mana possibility. So we just love these cards that will just kind of just get gasoline. So Tevil is like a really interesting card. He kind of synergizes like with all the cards we've talked about because we're simply going to be putting cards in our graveyard and then returning them to the battlefield. So what's really interesting is this thing ramps too, guys. This card is a menace. So when Teval attacks, mill 3 cards. Then you may return a land card from your graveyard to the battlefield tap. Whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard, create a 2/2 black zombie druid creature token. The value, Sultai flyers, just like, oh my god, just crazy. The Deathrite Shaman did make it in here. I know it like kind of hurts our graveyard pile. That kind of seems like counterintuitive, but I like how it can trigger like a Teval, and make those zombies. I think it's like a very cool like kind of synergy, where we can just like remove a land card and all of a sudden we're like triggering Teval by tapping for mana. It just seems like kind of fun. So we do also have these just really cool like more notorious cards for landfall, but they kind of fit what we're doing, like the Sultai thing, kind of putting cards into the grave, getting value from the graveyard, like such as land drops or ramp, and just a fantastic one here. The Blossoming Tortoise is going to do that when it enters and when it attacks, so we kind of love to see that. And then I don't have it yet, but I said let's just go, and that's the Ice Steel Explorer. It's basically Oracle and Mudaya meet Crucible Worlds, and it's the most broken card that's like ever been printed, basically. And it will actually continue to build the graveyard as you have lands coming onto the battlefield. It's pretty obnoxious, pretty spicy one there, guys. It's coming in the mail. Incarnation Technique, a fantastic resurrection spell. They'll actually be able to put like about 10 cards, I believe, at once into your graveyard with this if you do demonstrate. So mill 5. Then return a creature card from a graveyard to the battlefield. You may demonstrate so an opponent can do the same thing, and then you'll be able to do it again a second time. So you basically have to get 10 meals and 2 creatures, so it's very cool. Breach of Multiverse, just like massive value. You have to see these cards as just costing like 2 black with us. Yeah, we're going to be dropping some major bombs. You kind of miss out on like the Sultai Ultimatum like win con where you're just like kind of winning on the spot. But it's like different. It's just like kind of like a fun, like holy shnikes, you're putting on like a lot of power on the battlefield, like all of a sudden, or you're getting like way too much value, and it's just like that's a lot of value. So that's kind of what we're about. Building the graveyard. So Teval is going to definitely help for us. Excuse me. So yeah, Reanimate's like a fantastic card, no doubt about it. Just will simply resurrect a creature from my graveyard to the battlefield for a single mana. We'll take a little bit of hit with that creature's power, but I think it's mostly, or is it by its converted mana cost? It is a converted mana cost, but it's going to be fine. Here's a Smuggler Surprise. Probably one of my like favorite cards in the set from Outlaws of Thunder Junction. It's just like absolutely fantastic. In this manner, you remember we're only going to take a single damage from this spell. So that's just like kind of the way Tevil works. Like even if we add more modes that cost mana, this spree kind of kind of mechanic is it doesn't see this as part of the converted mana cost. It's like a plus to the side. So we can dump 8 mana into this and we're just going to take one, which is kind of nuts. And that's really where like the juice is. Like this is just going to mill 4 cards, which Tevel loves. Even that like 1 mana and 2 generic is just a fine choice in an early game sequence where we're returning lands and sweet creatures at instant speed for 3 mana, or you can just do like the full gamma here, and you can also get that for generic 1 green and basically return up to 2. Or you could also return creatures here. This will let you simply put 2 creature cards from your hand on the battlefield. So if you return 2 of those creatures from the graveyard, you can all of a sudden just slap it on with that middle mode too, because they'll be in your hand. That's just kind of how it stacks. So overall, super cool stuff. Also, Genji Glove is that like really sweet, like kind of payoff, right? Where, like I said, if you just have like 3 to 7 mana available right when Tevel comes on the battlefield, it's probably in your best interest to put like a Genji Glove in there and simply pay for this with the cards in your grave, and then utilize that three lands that you perhaps have open. You could probably even keep up protection, and then all of a sudden your Tevel is swinging in the air with double strike, and it's commander lethal. Like because you're getting an additional combat phase. So that's a sweet one. There's a lot of sweetness in this, and remember to like and subscribe, guys. If you feel the urge, we are going to hit 1,000. I am confident. We definitely will. We'll do something fun for the 1,000 deck, 1,000 subscriber giveaway. You know, so we'll definitely do something fun for it. But I don't know, but it could be Final Fantasy related. Like I am collecting the Surge foils to a degree, and I definitely have some cards to liquidate. I would kind of like to work on like that, like maybe getting more Surge foils from Final Fantasy, because I feel it's a fun like collector and probably a valuable collector kind of route to maybe get into. Kind of like how Lord of the Rings popped the holiday edition. Like over time, it's like my Aragorn, I think, that I bought for like $15, $15 to $20 is now like an $80 card. The poster. It's like what? Like why did that happen? So yeah, I might like go to the card store tomorrow, maybe try to liquidate some cards and get into some surges. But that would be a fun little thing if we like kind of do some surge foils for like the 1,000 subscriber, because I think by then the prices will go up too. So that might be a fun thing to look out for. The Endstone. This is or we can do a commander deck. You guys let me know. The Endstone. Well, we're doing 750 for Tycho, so make sure you comment. That's going to be a $250 ninja deck that we're giving away. So just simply comment, guys. Say what's up. Whenever you play a land or cast a spell, draw a card. This card is absolutely broken. The amount of value that you get from this is crazy, and Teval needs this. Like he like kind of like we kind of gas up that yard, and we're just like kind of maybe starving for some haymakers or value. So this is going to be like that haymaker or value where we get this off early enough, and we don't really care about going to 20 life each time. That's fine. Like with Tevel, we're going to be teetering. Like we're going to be, if we don't have like a platinum Imperium out, we'll be definitely teetering in the danger zone. So having your life reset to 20 is good. Even if we lose a couple life, like the turn this comes down, like maybe we're down to like 28 or something. First time around, we're going to get to 20, but that next turn, we're going to go down to like, 6 life, busting out stuff. And then we're just going to pop right back to 20 at the end of the turn. So it's kind of like a risk reward kind of thing, but it is so very fast. And it's kind of hard to like, imagine how fast this is. I wouldn't say it's as flashy as some combos are, but it's basically a combo. I mean, if you're getting a 7 mana Ugin out and you're getting it out soon enough, like turn 5, I mean, you're kind of doing the thing. I mean, you're kind of like dictating what's happening from there on out. So yeah, this card simply will just draw you life, or give you life and draw you a card for its plus. Add generic mana, and it has this passive ability. If you play a colorless artifact such as this, you just get to exile any permanent on the battlefield. And it has this weird cityscape leveler text that when you God, this card, that when you cast this card, you get to exile any permanent as well, any non-land permanent as well. It's one or more colors. It's so crazy. And it has an ultimate. Search your library for any number of colorless non-land cards, exile them, and shuffle. Until end of turn, you may cast those cards without paying their mana cost. Like, what is this card? Like, what happened there? It's crazy. Portal to Phyrexia. Yes, Blade. Tevil's here now. We're gonna cast the Portal of Phyrexia for 9 mana. You'll never see it coming. Is that the channel trailer? You'll never see it coming. You must sacrifice 3 creatures, all your opponents. They have to do that. You do not. They will. And then you get to resurrect a creature from any graveyard on your upkeep. This card is so whacked out. So whacked out. Excanguate. I thought this was fun. You could do like the Torment of Hailfire stuff, but I like the fact that you'll get some life back. Like the amount of life lost for all your opponents, you'll simply get it back total. So we do this for 10. We lose 12 life all of a sudden. But then, if we have 3 opponents, we're gaining 36. So that's kind of fun. I just kind of want to, dig into this thing and see what happens. And, that's a good amount of drain. I love it. Now, we've come to the dragons. Are you guys ready for this? You must like this video now. Take a moment. Ebb and Death will wait for you. I'll wait for you. Shoot it to the moon, guys. I appreciate it. Ebb and Death Dracolith. You can't hate this card. It's going to go to the grave, We're just going to half it there. And then we can just, cast it from our graveyard if a creature had died. It has flash. That's cool. It's a 5/2 dragon. The Scavenger Regent. Also an amazing card, but definitely needs the support. And Tevil is the one that's going to do that. Simply, going to let you kind of build up a little bit in this format and definitely have access to a nice board wipe. Everyone say hi to Ruben. She's being crazy because there's probably dogs on the TV. So, and that will only hit each non-dragon, so it doesn't hit our dragons themselves. So, pay, 4 into this, 6 total, and you're taking away 4 power, 4 toughness from the board, and it won't touch your dragons. So this will not die in that process. And as flying, ward, discard a card. All right. Here's the Keru Goldkeeper. This one is a 4-costed card, and it deals well with all the aforementioned kind of cards we've like Teval, the Balanced Scale, those cards that like to see cards leave the graveyard. You also had like Cash Grab, Ripples of Undeath, those cards that like kind of pop back. Even the Ice Till Explorer will trigger this each time an instance of a land leaves the graveyard. So flying, whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard during your turn, create a treasure token. And then it has this really nice renew effect. Exile this card from your graveyard, put 2 1/1 counters and a flying counter on target creature. Activate only as a sorcery. It's fine. Here's Junji. Probably like everyone's favorite mono black dragon. I'd say so. What I hate to see sometimes in brawls, like someone play a Junji and it like is not working out. But I've also seen this card just like absolutely be like torturous. It's like you are in a tough spot, like because there's something nasty in the graveyard. It's like I don't want to touch this thing. So Flying Menace, when Juji the Midnight Sky dies, choose 1. Each opponent discards 2 cards and loses 2 life. Oh, that's pretty gross. Put target non-dragon creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. Yeah, a non-dragon though. From a graveyard. So any graveyard, that's cool. Under your control, you lose 2 life. So that's kind of fun. Skitherix, the Blight Dragon. And just a cool, like, hasted fellow. I thought it'd be cool with a Genji glove. I'll be honest. That's why we're kind of running it. So, it's just a flying dragon that, like, kill someone on a couple swings. It's fine. Meringue Reaver Regent, very cool card. So I'll explain the Omen here. It's similar to Adventure, except this card doesn't like go to a zone where you can recast it after you've cast it on its Adventure side or that smaller side. To see like it's basically like either this one or this one. If you do this one, you lose access to this one. If you do this one first, though, you can do this one later. But in Omen, this thing will actually shoot back into your library after you use it like this. In this manner, you still just take the accumulated mana value of like that spell, like an Omen spell or Adventure spell, and that's how you dictate the life loss with Tevil. You won't take 10. You'll just take from the casting of it, take 6 from the instant Omen. That will be 4. So no big deal there, really. Draw 3 cards, then discard a card. That's fine. That will build our graveyard. That's a good option if we need it. Additionally, flying. When this creature enters, return up to 2 other target non-land permanents to their owner's hand. Fantastic. Yeah, some nice bounce there for sure. And a nice 6/7 dragon. So yeah, here we go. Silumgar, the Drifting Death. I love this card. Basically, we're going to be attacking our opponents, and the amount of dragons that are attacking the opponent, their creatures will get -1/-1 till end turn. Really nasty little guy to kind of get in there and kind of definitely control and get some maybe sneaky removal in that fashion. Ancient Brass Dragon, just another just crazy dragon, guys. you could do like old Gnawbone stuff. You could do, you could do the Ancient Silver Dragon. These are kind of the dragons that I have and maybe wanted just to try out. There's also a cool like Brain Rot Dragon that's like really nasty. Has like it's like eating a brain or something. But I did order that one, but we'll see how this version goes. This one looks fine as well. It's just basically going to connect, and you'll be able to roll a d20 when you do put any number of target creature cards with total amount of value X or less from graveyards onto the battlefield on your control, where X is the result. And that's a total mana value. So if you roll like a 10, you could take like a 7-drop and a 3-drop in that manner. If you only roll a 5, you could do a 3-drop and a 2-drop, or any combinations of those, or just a 5-drop. So very cool card, a nice cool flyer there. Beautiful. Ancient Bronze Dragon to kind of like maybe let Teval kind of dictate the action, like, and kind of give like a must answer. If we can start swinging with the Ancient Bronze Dragon, and roll kind of big enough, we're going to be having like a really strong flying life linker in Tevil. So definitely want to try the Ancient Bronze Dragon. It's kind of a tank, but honestly, guys, this is the deck. I mean, you can do anything you want here. We are in Dragons, and we just like have barely touched the surface. You guys are just going to be like, whoa, this deck is getting crazy. And sure enough, Bahamut is a dragon. Did you guys know that? It's amazing. So we just love it. We just love to see this other crazy dragon just like kind of like come into this deck all of a sudden. And it's going to destroy a non-land permanent on the first 2 chapters, draw 2 cards on chapter 3, and then on the 4th chapter, this creature deals damage equal to total mana value of other permanents you control to each opponent. Like, what is that? Bahamut. What is that? It's Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! The Bahamut. So it's a 9/9. And actually easily castable with Tevil. I swear, if you don't have it the first time around, you're going to get it the next turn. Don't worry. You're going to be able to like play a Bahamut real fast. Kindred Dominance. Choose a creature type. Destroy all creatures that aren't of the chosen type. I want you just to see this as like 2 black. So just think of all these crazy one-sided board wipes as like 2 black. Don't even look at the generic mana. We're going to have it. We're going to have it available. Same thing with the Crux of Fate. Destroy all dragon creatures. Destroy all non-dragon creatures. Pop quiz. Which one are we going to pick? And then you're going to have two blacks here. Fantastic. It's just basically 2 black. Okay, Dark Ritual, just for that sweet, sweet acceleration. Love to see it. Soul Ring, you know what it does. Bird, mana. Delight of Halfling, mana. Nature's Lore, mana. Snag. Haired Heirloom. This is a cool source of acceleration towards our creatures. And then we can simply tap this down. And then when we have a creature deal damage like a flyer, we're going to draw. And it's going to have trample. Fantastic. Here's Dragon Horde. Whenever a dragon enters the battlefield under your control, put a gold counter on Dragon Horde. Remove a gold counter from Dragon Horde, draw a card. That's what we're going to be doing with this. We're going to be drawing a bunch of cards. Add 1 mana of any color either. Let's go, baby. Herald's Horn. Let's reduce our dragon spells. Fantastic. At the beginning of your upkeep, look at the top card of your library. If it's a creature of the chosen type, you may reveal it and put it in your hand. Let's go. Bloomvine Regent. Let's go ahead and Rampies on that little forest cultivate side. And then for 5 mana or for 5, whenever this creature or another dragon you control enters, you gain 3 life. That's life for us. That's beautiful. Or like a cultivate. Whatever we want, we're going to get it. All right, here's our protection. Swiftfoot Boots. Fantastic. Lightning Greaves is probably the best. You don't have to pay that equip cost. So if this is coming associated with a Tevil, you're going to be having your way with your opponents for probably quite some time. It's going to be a problem. So probably our most powerful card for Tevil. So I'll put this one to the side. Lightning Greaves, extremely strong. These are going to be like our top 5 cards that I probably will go through before we finish this deck tech. Mithril Code is also in the top 5 simply because it's kind of a gotcha card. And we can just be flashing this in at instant speed if we get targeted for basically a destroy effect or like a wrath effect. We can simply play this at instant speed and it'll attach right to our Tevil. So it's fantastic. And not only is this indestructible, but the creature will be indestructible. So very strong. I do like the Jade Orb. It won't guard against like your board wipes and such. But it will give us hexproof for the turn for that dragon, and it will accelerate us. So it's a very clever card. At green, when you spend this mana, cast a dragon creature spell, it enters the battlefield with an additional 1/1 counter on it, and gains hexproof until your next turn. Pretty cool. Dispelling Exhale, basically like kind of what is that card called? Lofty Denial, I suppose. But you may behold a dragon in this instance too. You don't actually have to have anything on the battlefield, which is kind of cool. You just have to have a dragon in your hand or a dragon on the battlefield, and you basically, for a blue and 1 generic, counter target spell unless its controller pays 2. If a dragon was beheld, counter that target spell unless its controller pays 4. Sweet. All right. Here's our Pact of Negation. So there's that. And just a 0 mana investment, so that's fantastic. Counter target spell. At the beginning of your upkeep, next upkeep, pay 3 or 2 blue. If you don't, you lose the game. It's totally fine. We won't take any damage with this counter spell with Tevil. And we can simply pay that, no problem, and still go and have a good turn with Tevil because we're using the cards in our graveyard to pay for our spells primarily. Marks of Swirling Mist is just an amazing pitch card, basically. Or with Tevil, I mean, we're going to get hurt sometimes, but like I said, it's just like a nice failsafe. It's kind of a gotcha spell. Like all of a sudden, like I just make everything like phase out. Like could be my stuff, can be my opponent's stuff. Like I can get political with this card. It's kind of like a win-win for everybody. So yeah, we can just simply like sink some mana in here with Tevil and be pretty happy. Offer You Can't Refuse is just like another sweet, just kind of lower to the ground. Kind of into a longer game here. Don't mind that. Mana Drain, we can definitely kind of have some gotcha spells here. So there's a nice Mana Drain. Cyclonic Rift, just to like kind of bust everything back to people's hands. Some really sweet dragon lands. This one's from Starkir. You pay 4 and a tap. You can search for a dragon in your library, put it right to your hand. Or just add 1 mana to spend this mana to only cast a dragon spell or an omen spell, or add just colorless. Mistrise Village is to kind of give us like another Delighted Halfling effect and Cavernous Souls type effect where we just don't really care about counter spells because we just have like this ability to like pay an additional so that the spell is uncounterable. Haven is a little bit more interesting. It will cast colored spells just with dragons in them. Also pay for just 1 colorless. I like this effect of the 2 in the tap to return a dragon card or Ugin Planeswalker card from your graveyard to your hand. This is fantastic, guys. It's just like, I don't even know what to say. Underground Mortuary for that really cool like surveil, like a land that we can play that will put a card in the graveyard. It's perfect for Teval to build a graveyard under city sewers. A variety of fetch lands that we have here. These are all great because the fetch lands are just very effective because they just go right to your graveyard. You can like That's one card in the grave when you search and sacrifice this. And then when you put a surveil land too, that's like basically 2 cards potentially in your graveyard if you don't keep the one on top of the surveil. So you're just really busting the graveyard with these like fetch surveil lands. They just become like make this card like so much more worthwhile to kind of investigate. The land base is expensive in that manner, but it's kind of like necessary. We have some beautiful Zendikar lands. It's like, why not? Just like get into these really high costed spells, really like kind of spin the dice and try to maximize your value and take advantage of the 40 life that you're going to have. And try to win fast, you know, try to win fast, I would say. Some really clever like Zendikar lands, really cool for our dragons, like a Glasspool Mimic, Jawari, just some really fancy dancy multi-face land cards, and they just kind of get reduced with Tevil. Like this is just one blue with Tevil, this is just one blue with Tevil, so it's just like kind of really interesting, kind of a really interesting commander overall. Hope you guys are loving it. Hope you guys are building something fun and that you enjoy. Uh, what's so funny about this deck is that I thought I was like so far away from completion because I had like started acquiring some more cards and I like had made a stack and I put it in a like basically a deck box and it was like 40 cards and I was like, oh, have I like really not worked on this deck? I feel like I've been working on it for like the last like 3 months. I was like, what happened? And then I was like, oh man. So I looked through a binder. I couldn't find the cards there. I was like, there's some cards I'm missing. So I went through like my tub and I had a couple more deck ideas. And I was like, oh, there it is. So I'd already had like a very good base bones and I was able to basically go from like not thinking this deck was close to being done to be done like overnight. So it was really cool. And I just have these wonderful cards that you're just going to love. Malika Rebirth, just like resurrect your stuff. If they get targeted and it's like a destroy effect, just slap the sucker on there. It's going to come back tap it. It's going to be alive. Balagetta to get back into our graveyard. These beautiful Zendikar lands. Yeah, the Hagra Mauling. Just this gets so much better. Just see this as like 2 black. Don't even worry about colorless anymore. That'll be the title. Colorless be gone. You know, like you don't have to pay it. You don't have to pay it anymore. This is 2 black. Destroy target creature planeswalker at instant speed. This one is less good. It is at instant speed too, but it doesn't hit planeswalker, so you can see the power creep there. Very power creep card. Boseiju who endures. These are the channel lands. They're just, obviously can be sweet lands that have no tapped penalty. They're just no brainers. They can do other stuff. They're just fantastic. I have all the channel lands in here. We have like a little bouncy land here. These are this cool land cycle. Zagoth Triumph just to be easily fetchable for our colors. Beautiful watery grave and that nice little kind of. I'd have to say Edge of Eternities is like that set that I kind of have a fever for, and I'm just like, it's just not within my means to like buy as much of cards as I want to do with this set. I did explore a box of Dragonstorm in Foundations, but I'd have to say this is like exceeds like all my kind of my box opening was fantastic. If you see one of my shorts, I opened up a Water Grave and an Ouroboros in the same pack. And there's also those stellar sights in the set. It's like loaded. It's like it might go down as like kind of like the Brothers War set boosters for me. Those are also like insane. Like that's on my list too. I would probably put out like a cool list about that. For me, like probably Ikoria collectors are absolutely insane. If you can get like a box of Ikoria collectors, yeah, I think that set was just incredible. Brothers War set boosters, not even the collectors, just the set boosters are absolutely jacked. Those you are just jacked with value. And then these Edge of Eternities, that box I bought, incredible box. Highly recommended, guys. I have some Shocklands here. Caverner's Souls for that encounterability named Dragon. We love that. Just some nice little rainbow lands here. Some of those commander lands that are just very easily accessible when you have 2 or more opponents. You just simply get the colors you need. Command Tower, fantastic. A decent amount of forest just because of that region and that it fetches 2 forests at once. So that's that. 2 swamps and then 2 islands. So that's the deck here. I'd have to say, like, I think like these are kind of the cards here. Like the top 5, if I was going to kind of like top 5 this, is going to be like the Imperium. You know, let's see here. Maybe even a Bahamut is pretty up there too. Hmm. Yeah, it's kind of like this. Like honestly, even the Smuggler's Surprise. All these cards are just incredible. I still Explorer. That card's really busted. Like this card is insane. This card is insane. Esper Origins is insane. All of these cards are just incredibly busted in general. And these cards are just like kind of it, man. Probably Genji Glove kind of gets in there too. Don't want to forget that one. That one is just wow. Like it's a wow card. This is pretty wow too. Like the Kindred Dominance, I think, kind of looks really busted in this deck. Also, just the Crux of Fate does that similar thing. Yeah, it's like basically just redundancy. They're both basically just two black. You know, you just see these as like two black, paying two black. There's a Genji Glove. Cool. All right, so let's get a look at like kind of the other portion of the deck as well. Kind of like order these kind of in the fashion that I think would be cool. So it's definitely has to be like these kind of lightning greaves effects are just really strong. With Mithril Coat, so those are just like kind of top, and these are also really up there. The Platinum Angel Imperium, I'd have to say like all of these are extraordinary. I think the Ugin is really up there too, guys. Bahamut has done like incredible things. I would say the Endstone does like really crazy stuff. Smuggler's Surprise is just like kind of really up there. Tevil is like probably really up there as well. Palantir is just really strong. Um, yeah, Esper Origins should be solid. Kindred Dominance, Crux of Fate, Genji Glove is up there too. So let's set it up. Wow. Yeah, Smuggler's Surprise is definitely like we'll probably like right in between here. Genji Glove, yeah, these just all seem like really yeah. I'd say this is it. So let's start off here. All right, guys. So this was a fantastic day where we definitely had fun sharing the Teval Arbiter of Virtue deck. Remember to like and subscribe to the video. I appreciate all the support. And yeah, this is a cool channel because you kind of get back stuff just by participating and commenting. So thanks, guys, again. This was Teval, commander from Dragonstorm Darkir. And I'm just going to kind of go over like kind of probably the first 15 so cards here that are just like absolutely amazing with our commander. I think you're just gonna love everything about it. But here we go. We have Lightning Greaves, Mithril Coat. Basically, you want to get into the generic mana costs by delving and simply paying for the mana costs by removing cards from your graveyard. So there's Platinum Angel, Platinum Imperium, the Endstone, Summon Bahamut. It's a dragon too. Ugin Eye of Storms, Smuggler Surprise, because we only take one damage from that spree cost. You can load this up and just take a damage with Tevil because you will take damage from the mana cost of spells, which is kind of the downside. Genji Glove, obviously that's a commander lethal equipped with Teval. You have these nice one-sided board wipes for our dragons because we have a dragon deck. So basically, you just want to see these as like two costed black rather than the five because we'll simply be able to cast these if that is our need. Crux of Fate, similarly, yeah, it's just basically like a two black spell with Tevil. Esper Origins for just like an amazing like value town. Nice surveils, it kind of does everything we want. Palantir, that nice building of the graveyard. Opponent can take some really nasty damage, so they just have to give us a card. And also very easily castable. I'd say this is your baseline for Teval. So right when you cast them, you're going to see another card coming with Teval. Usually this mana is very appropriate and ready to go. So see Teval as like two cards in one, basically. Just a value orgasm. Teval balance scale. And then that's kind of like the the emphasis for building your graveyard, and that's what Teval loves, and this one loves it as well. And you're just returning cards from your graveyard out, and excuse me. Whenever one more cards leave your graveyard, you will create a 2/2 black zombie druid creature token, and you also get to ramp. So really big. Those are like the big cards here, and these are kind of like the accessory cards overall for the. There's a little bit of a rampage here in general. Love to see it. And then you have like your dragons that are just fantastic. Just the mini dragons that we're playing. Really cool stuff. Some nice haymakers here. Nice value. It's kind of like a very like sorcery kind of spell. It's very sorcery like I see it. Like not as many permanents. It definitely plays in that manner. So that's kind of fun. You get to definitely kind of exercise your big haymakers. And that's a fun thing for me to do. I will try. I will try to do my best. And the beautiful fetch lands for Tevil is so good. And surveil lands and these cool little dragon lands too. They're so cool. And you have your little blue suite here. And yeah, that was it, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you guys. See you on the next one.